All right, today we're tackling a big one. It's a book that has completely shaken up how millions of people think about money. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. We're going to break down its core ideas, figure out why it's so incredibly popular, and also look at some of the really tough criticisms against it. So let's just dive right in.
You know this quote? It's basically the entire book in a nutshell. It's a direct shot at the path most of us are told to follow, right? Go to school, get those good grades, land a safe, secure job. Kiyosaki is basically saying that the most important lesson about money is the one that our schools just completely forget to teach.
So let's be clear about something right off the bat. If you're expecting a book full of complicated stock charts and detailed investment strategies, well, you're in for a surprise. This isn't really a technical finance book. It's more of a manual for your brain, designed to totally flip your thinking about money, work, and what it even means to be wealthy. So how does he get these big ideas across? He uses a really simple, but honestly, a super powerful storytelling tool. The tale of his two dads. And this contrast, this conflict between them, is what drives pretty much every lesson in the entire book. And here it is, the core conflict laid bare. On one side, you have the poor dad. That's Kiyosaki's real father. His world is all about job security, getting that good education, and just climbing the corporate ladder, the safe route. But then on the other side, you've got the rich dad, who's actually his friend's father. And his world, it's all about freedom. He's not interested in a salary. He's interested in building assets that generate their own income. These two mindsets are just worlds apart, and that difference is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, so let's really dig into this rich dad mindset. What are the actual lessons here? Let's unpack the ideas that have made this book stick around for so long.
And this gets us to maybe the most famous idea in the whole book. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you own. See, the whole idea of the rat race is that if you only focus on your paycheck, you're stuck on a hamster wheel. You work, you get paid, you pay bills, and the cycle just repeats. Kiyosaki argues that true wealth comes from getting off that wheel by owning things. And that's where this huge distinction comes in, the difference between assets and liabilities.
Okay, so what's an asset? The book's definition is just so simple and memorable. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket, period. Think about it. A rental property that brings in rent each month, or maybe stocks that pay you dividends. If it's generating cash for you, hey, it's an asset. And a liability? Well, it's the exact opposite. It's anything that takes money out of your pocket. Now, this is where things get a little spicy, a little controversial, because things we're always told are our biggest assets, like the house we live in or the car we drive, Kiyosaki frames them as liabilities. Why? Because every single month they have costs. Mortgages, insurance, repairs. They're constantly taking money out of your pocket. So this brings up a really tough question, one you kind of have to ask yourself. When you look at your biggest expenses each month, what are you actually buying? Are you putting your money into assets, things that will make you money down the line? Or are you just piling up liabilities that just cost you more and more? It's a really powerful way to look at your own finances. And look, this whole philosophy is way bigger than just assets versus liabilities. It's really about a fundamental shift in how you see the world. It's about believing that your mindset is more important than the money in your bank account right now. It's about valuing real-world financial smarts over a fancy degree. It means you don't wait for opportunities, you go out and find them. And yeah, you're going to take some risks and you might even fail, but you learn from it. It's all about taking control of your financial destiny instead of just letting it happen to you. So you got to ask, right? Why this book? Why has it sold millions upon millions of copies and is still talked about decades later? What is it about this message that just resonates with so many people? Let's get into its biggest strengths. I think it really boils down to a few key things. First, it's just incredibly inspirational. It gives you permission, maybe for the first time, to question that standard path you've always been told to follow. Second, the storytelling is brilliant. That simple tale of the two dads makes these big ideas stick in your head in a way that some dense, boring textbook never could. And finally, and this is so important, it doesn't claim to be the final word. It's more like a starting pistol. It gets you fired up to go out and learn about finance for yourself. But, okay, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The book has a ton of critics, and for us to get the full picture, we absolutely have to look at where a lot of people think it falls flat.
One of the biggest complaints you'll hear is that it's all principle and no practice. It's great at telling you what to do, buy assets, but it's super vague on the how. Another big issue is that a lot of the examples just feel Well, a little idealistic. They don't always seem to apply to people who don't have a bunch of startup capital or special connections. And maybe the most serious criticism is that it can make investing in business sound way too simple. It kind of glosses over the very real risks and the fact that you can lose everything.
So when you look at the good and the bad, you start to see what this book really is. It's not a step-by-step instruction manual. That's not its purpose. Its real job, its real value is to be a catalyst. It's a spark. It's designed to jolt you into thinking about money in a completely different way. And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Is Rich Dad, Poor Dad a flawed financial roadmap that you shouldn't follow too closely? Or is its real value something much deeper? Is it simply a key designed to unlock a new door in your mind, a new way of seeing the world, not just as someone who earns a paycheck, but as someone who invests? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.